Now playing movie reviews in 20 Qs.
Hello, good people, and welcome to the podcast Movie Reviews in 20 Qs, the show where we review a movie by throwing 20 weird and wonderful questions at it. I'm your host, clearly not Sam Hurley. This is so much excitement in my voice. I record in a monotone. I don't know how Sam does it. That's all I can do.
That was really good. You had serious Sam vibes on that.
I truly just talked louder and waved my arms.
That's pretty much Sam's MO, I think.
That's what he does.
Talking loudly and waving arms.
I am not Sam. I am Emily Higgins. I'm taking this over. My favorite podcast, like a Make-A-Wish, but I'm pretty healthy outside of all the Hot Pockets I eat that people are genuinely concerned about. Well, I'm down to my last few.
You never know what with the whole thing we're not talking about right now.
Right. All the secrets. We are talking about Legally Blonde. You could tell that from the name of it. And so we have the most important women in podcasting. We have Stacey Hurley. How do you feel about me being your new husband?
I feel fantastic. I think it's great. Refreshing, in fact.
For our new life together.
Yeah.
And then we have Liz, who I DM'd Sam about in a creepy way and was like, Liz is so funny. And so he set this up for me, this blind podcast date.
Oh, I feel very touched. Yes, Sam told me that I had a fan. I was very excited. It felt very cool. First time probably ever that I have felt cool. So thank you for that.
It's me just DMing Sam and never talking to you about it.
Yeah, no, that sounds like pretty standard internet fare, to be honest. So fair enough. It's delightful to meet you over this video chat thing.
You too. This is exciting. Yeah. I'm always so excited to be here. Talk to other humans. All right. Legally Blonde has a 6.3 on IMDb, unacceptable. 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, okay. 59% on Metacritic, also unacceptable. And Liz, you are tasked with the plot.
Yes, I watched this movie last night. I do like to leave things quite last minute. In fact, I left it so last minute we had to reschedule the podcast because I got confused about when it was. So, yeah, I definitely think that means I deserve having to recap the plot. So, Legally Blonde is about a bubbly, cheerful, blonde sorority sister, Elle Woods, at Delta Nu, who's like totally in love with her good-looking rich boyfriend, and she thinks he's going to propose, and then he doesn't, and he says he can't because he needs someone who's more serious if he's going to be a senator by the time he's 30. And she's like totally devastated, and she decides that the only way to get him back is to become someone more serious. And so she decides to go to Harvard Law School, where he is going for his postgrad. So she gets into Harvard, and hijinks ensue.
That's it. Mm-hmm. That's the movie.
That's the movie I
That
watched.
covers it.
Sweet. Yeah. Yeah, I felt like the hijinks ensue just sort of encapsulated everything else and the rest of the film. And you don't want to give too much away, do you?
No, because I'm sure a lot of people don't know what happened in Legally Blonde.
Yeah. Who's watched that? Such a cult, tiny film that nobody's ever seen.
Only us bringing it into the light now.
Well, it deserves it, you know? Such a fantastic film. Should be watched by everybody. We even made Sam watch it.
Mm-hmm. He did. Most of it.
I think that's a good effort.
Okay. We need to score this film out of 10,000 law gavels. That's related to the law. No, 10,000 bruisers. Because I'm in love with Bruiser. 10,000 bruisers. Stacey, what are you going to give it?
Okay, I'm going to give it 7,623 bruises.
Not too bad. I was going to rate it by diamond rings. I'm going to go with 8,210 bruises. There you go.
Oh boy, I'm going to give it a solid 9,100 bruisers.
No, I think I would have. I think I would have the first time I watched it, but now watching it, it doesn't hold up as well as I thought. Like, I mean, pretty good, but not as well as I thought. So I thought, I can't give it like really top ratings, but it's pretty good.
It is. And I feel like I've seen it 40 times. And on this 41st, I was like, oh no, did I not remember all of it? Like, it's not quite as good as the first 40 times. So it's not a 10,000.
Yeah, doing the research for the podcast, like when you're watching it and trying to answer the questions, it's just ruining the movies for me because I'm just seeing all the stuff that I would have just sort of brushed over in other films. And thanks a lot, Sam.
Yeah, welcome to the hellscape I've been living in, Liz. Congratulations, you made it.
Ruining movies for me.
We had to cut into it for our compliment sandwich. You had to figure out, you had to be like, what don't I like? So let's start off. Stacey, your compliment sandwich.
Okay, so first off, the first thing I liked was the snappy pace in editing. They didn't drag this out by including every single element that happened in the story. I loved how they skipped forward a week, a month, here and there, and just, you know what's happening. They treated their audience like they had brains, which I really enjoyed. The bad thing for me was the bend and snap. Why was that scene in the movie? It just took us straight to Bollywood. We didn't need to go there at all.
It just went next level and ridiculous.
It did. It didn't work.
Because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Exactly. It doesn't.
And no one is going to see that and be like, ooh, I see that and be like, oh no, someone has a problem.
Yeah.
Well, it's just not something. And also, it didn't seem like it would work to me. I mean, what? Wouldn't you think someone was completely insane if they were like, bend and snap and like popped out there? No.
Mm-hmm. Right. And put both their hands up like a little T-Rex.
Yeah, it was super weird.
Yeah. If there were more scenes in the movie like that, and if that's where the movie wanted to go, that kind of humour, yeah, sure. But it just stuck out on its own. And my final good thing was I loved Elle Woods as a character. She starts off misguided and her motivation isn't the best, say, you know, going to law school to follow her boyfriend. But she realizes through the course of what she's doing that actually, no, that's not what she wants. And she is making her own life better. And it's a fantastic story of empowerment for anyone, not just females, but anyone finding themselves and finding out what they want to do.
Hell yeah.
It is.
Okay, so for my compliment sandwich, the first thing that I really liked was Elle's outfits throughout the film.
Ooh.
I really loved just every time it came to her wearing a new outfit. I was like, oh, what's she wearing now? Like I loved her the one where she wears on the first day of law school, and she's got like that really sort of fancy green and blue sort of coat, and like she puts the glasses on even though they look like proper glasses with real lenses. But then she doesn't actually seem to need glasses. So I'm like, is she wandering around that whole day just kind of dizzy? I don't know. It just seemed quite funny to me. But
I hope.
For my not so great thing in the middle of the sandwich, I would say that I just felt the movie didn't go far enough. Like it was a little bit white feminism as opposed to a proper intersectional kind of view. I'll mention later on, I think that I felt like, for instance, male bisexuality was erased. When they proved that the guy was gay and had a boyfriend, that he couldn't therefore have slept with Mrs. Wyndham. And I was like, well, actually. So, yeah, that was kind of something I thought, oh, pushing it there. And my final thing I loved was the great one-liners that I still use today. There's some amazing lines in this film.
Yeah, it truly, maybe everyone should just let this movie live in their memories for the lines and the outfits, and they don't need to rewatch it.
Exactly. Like whoever said orange was the new pink was seriously disturbed.
The use of the word disturbed is so amazing. Like, that's so funny.
Oh, yeah, because it's like it's this intense, crazy thing, and you're just like, she can wear orange if she wants to. She's Cameron Diaz. She's going to look good no matter what.
So serious about it, though. Like, oh, no. She wore orange.
Heaven forbid. Maybe it was coral. I quite like coral. In fact, I'm kind of wearing coral right now. Which, yeah.
What a nice compliment sandwich.
Yeah.
My thing is that as what I loved when I was watching, because again, I had to like analyze it, not just be like, oh, I love this movie. It makes me feel happy. But Elle, I feel like, is always presented in a very positive way. Like, she never really doubts herself. She works really hard. She cares about other people. She's a good role model. Like you said, Stacey, like she's a good character. And I like that on the surface, she seems very like bubblegummy and shiny, but the movie is well thought out in the way it develops her. And Liz, to your point, definitely very white woman focused. But she herself is pretty fleshed out for what the movie is.
Yeah, I think she's got great confidence and stuff. You know, when she walks up to the party wearing the bunny outfit and realizes it's not a costume party, but then just goes, yep, I'm Stan. I look good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. How many people would do that? I was just like, yeah, that's badass. And then she comes back to Vivian with that amazing line, which she's like, oh, when I dress up as a frigid bitch, I try not to look so constipated.
Another classic. She's never like, oh no, I'm too dumb. She's just like, oh, I just need a perfect score on the LSATs. Okay, I'll study.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
What? Yeah. Like it's hard?
Another classic. I think the thing that I didn't like upon a rewatch is it's very predictable. And I think her character is really well done, but the rest of the movie is like, yep, exactly what you think is going to happen happens. Like, I get why it's not an Oscar winner, and that's fine.
But not
like,
every
it doesn't
movie
need
has
to be
an Oscar movie. Yeah,
totally.
Oscar winner, so yeah.
Totally. We'll see if Reese pushes for an Oscar for the next one. But I also love, there are so many great women in this movie. Like, again, it's not like she's pitted against Vivian. Like, Vivian turns out to have more to her. There's the professor. There's the self-made mogul. There's, like, the preppy girl with a heart. I don't think the movie looked down on anyone. And I don't think it was hateful towards men. Like, there are nice guys in it. It doesn't paint with broad strokes in a negative way. It kind of does just like, oh, look, this guy's gay. This is happening. But in terms of characterization, everybody's like, no, we're all human beings.
Yeah, all got flaws or whatever. But yeah, even for every horrible guy, there's a decent guy there as the counterpart. So I think that's good. That's really good call.
That dreamboat, Emmett.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm actually more of a Werner girl in that he plays Alaric Saltzman on the Vampire Diaries series. And he's just amazing in that. So, shall we head on to the questions?
Let's do it.
So, question 2. What deep philosophical debate arose in you during this film?
Okay, I got this weird fear while I was watching it. Do we think this movie made more people apply to law school that shouldn't be applying to law school? I think Elle Woods fully deserved to get into Harvard. Her video was goofy, but it showed like a passion and a different sort of thinking than they probably tend to get in their applicants. I'm worried that there were a lot of girls that were like, oh, I should apply to Harvard, and then had their hopes dashed.
It'd be so interesting, like, to look at the numbers of people who applied. Like, I wonder if there's some sort of statistics that show like a correlation between Legally Blonde coming out and how many people applied to law school.
I feel like there must have been.
If only we'd been bothered to do the research beforehand.
If there was,
I guess we'll never know.
If there was, I think that's a good thing. And yeah, if their hopes got dashed, that's a good thing too, because you need to learn about these things in life. And
yeah, absolutely.
Totally
and
fair.
if it doesn't work, try again or try something else. And I think that's a good spin-off from this movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask every lawyer I meet from now on, like, were you inspired to do this? Who are a certain age? Like,
yeah, they have to be.
Is that why? Did you come into this field because of Legally Blonde? You can tell me.
And
be
then
honest.
They're like, no, you're like, oh, really? Like, be really surprised that wasn't the key thing that spurred them to this choice.
I think
I'll make them embarrassed.
if you talk to lawyers to find out if they're still currently practicing after have been inspired by this film, I think that's a different thing to people who are inspired to go to law school. Because what Elle Woods has as a character that many people won't is she's not going to be beaten down by the system. And we all know that the legal system can be tricky. Any bureaucratic or any endeavour that you go into, it can beat the life out of you if you don't have that core passion and values that is really driving you.
Well, she really talked about the passion, right, that was integral to the study of law.
Exactly.
But I wonder if this wasn't actually my philosophical debate, so we'll put this as like a bit of a rebuttal to yours. It's just, I wonder if that she was so successful because she was so privileged. She'd never had anything where she didn't get to do any, whenever she wanted to do something, she just did it and it worked out. So then she never thought she couldn't. Whereas other people don't have those opportunities. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, like, her parents were paying for school and stuff, and she was like, I'll just sit here and study in this nice, like, cushy library with this smart girl that I know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, so my philosophical debate was just that the most realistic part of this entire movie to me was the bit where the older lawyer hits on the young, beautiful legal intern. And then, like, one of the guys at the firm is surprised that it happens. Like, I was just like, this is the most realistic part of the film. How depressing is that? That was a bit of a...
They couldn't do that now. People would just be like, oh, yeah, of course.
Well, you hope not, right? But, like, I think for me, as well as the guy hitting on it, it was really that his colleague was like, oh, no, really? Did that happen?
Right.
Like the surprise. Because that's totally what happens, right? People are just, oh, no, he seems nice. It's fine.
Yeah.
Totally. So my deep philosophical debate that arose in me was, would Elle have wanted more for herself and her life if she had got engaged? So I think not getting engaged was obviously the motivator for her to start this whole endeavour. Do you think she would have wanted any of this if they had got married and so on and so forth?
I think she would have ended up doing really well regardless, but it would have been in a different field. Like she was doing fashion merchandising, right? So I reckon she would have ended up the next Anna Wintour or the head of some really massive fashion label or something, you know? I think she would have ended up being one of these incredible CEOs in all the magazines and things. She was just too badass and she just didn't take no for an answer. So, yeah, that's my theory anyway.
I hope so. I think she'd be on a lot of boards of like charities.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because what else you can do with all that Warner money?
Yeah, animal charities, definitely.
Okay, what quote from this film would be the worst to hear before or after sex? I'm opening it up to either or. Liz?
Go, Stacey. I've got a couple.
Okay, so yeah, I've got a couple too. So I'm going to go with, if you're going to let one stupid prick ruin your life, you're not the girl I thought you were.
That's quality. Excellent.
Yeah.
And that's, I feel like we should have that on like a little loop playing on our phones every time we go. Well, maybe not you because you're married, Stacey, but you know, anytime I meet a new guy, I'd be like, am I going to let this stupid prick ruin my life? Mine I ended up deciding on was enjoy prison.
Oh yeah, you do not want to hear that before.
That would be fairly concerning, I thought. Yeah.
Yep.
What about you, Emily?
Professor Callahan saying, "Let the bloodbath begin."
Nice.
Yeah, you do not want to hear that at any time.
No, I think that's a total fair call. I want to give an honourable mention to the line, "I feel terrible. I made a huge mistake."
Oh no!
In that case, I'm going to mention my runner-up, and that was what she got that you don't got: 3 boobs.
There are a lot of good lines in this movie.
They really. My runner-up that I didn't choose because it wasn't as snappy was, of course, any masturbatory emissions where the sperm is clearly not seeking an egg could be termed reckless abandonment.
Yes, that's fantastic.
Nice. Yeah, I think
be
the
an
guy's gonna
aggressive
think that
thing
you're
to
trying
hear.
to get some babies right there.
Absolutely.
That would be so upsetting.
So weird.
Okay, for question number 4, I'm going to introduce that we have a wonderful Patreon subscriber that has given us this question, Dave Baker. He has his own Patreon at patreon.com/yourfavorite, where he creates and posts creative content, including YouTube recommendations, video essays, written essays on Medium. And he has given an excellent question.
Dave would like to know which character would have the best social media presence and on what platform.
So I decided that it would be Elle's blonde best friend from back in California. I actually don't know her name, but come on, she's going to have 1 million followers. She's going to have all the pictures of the sorority girls doing their parties. It'll all be on Instagram, like just photo after photo of like beautiful women.
Yeah.
100% she's going to have like 1 million followers.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know her character, but the actress is Jessica Caulfield, and the other one is Alana Ubach. And if you keep an eye out for them, they're in like every 90s horror movie.
Oh, I definitely know the brunette one. Yeah, I definitely recognized her. She always has terrible hair.
She just played Justice or Jean Brito in the Bombshell. She played that horrible woman with the dark hair. Yeah, Alana Ubach.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Who was like, hey, leave this guy alone.
Well, it's good she's still got a career, I guess. That I didn't see
she's
her
doing
having
great.
much of a social media platform.
No.
She was the dumb one. I think Chutney would be very funny on Twitter. Like, she just seems like kind of, she wasn't the quickest in the courtroom, but she just seems like somebody who would have like a cool Twitter that has a lot of followers and is verified and you don't really know what they do. Maybe they wrote like an article and you're not sure.
Very sardonic, like sort of, snarky tweets.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Absolutely. The person I've chosen is going to be an absolute hit on Twitter with, I think, and that's Professor Stromwell. Yes, she's an older generation, but she's got a lot of mean lines. So she's just going to get out there and spread that joy.
Yeah, she wouldn't hold back.
She'd hold people to task, you know.
Yeah. All right. Question 5. What's something in this movie that you noticed that you don't think other people might have immediately noticed?
I think there were a ton of teeny, very funny moments that were overshadowed by the broader comedy. There is a scene in particular where the pool boy is in the courtroom and they're talking about how he had to serve her drinks in like the teeniest thong bikini. And they cut to Brooke Wyndham And she just for a split second, she does this facial expression. It's like, what are you going to do? Like, that's what I wanted. And then there's a scene when Elle has the bunny outfit and she's talking to Warner, and she like walks up to him and she's like, "Hey, Warner." And he is immediately way too into it. And Enid, the girl with glasses, the kind of grumpy other law student, she just looks at him with such disgust and walks away. And that's in the background of the scene happening between Elle and Warner. And because this is my 41st time watching the movie, I was like, oh, you know what? Everyone was really bringing it.
Nice. What about you, Stace?
Yeah, this is my least favorite question because I don't notice things. I'm just watching a movie.
Me either. Yeah, I'm stoked because I actually did notice a couple of things in this movie, but usually I notice nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So I have to work really hard. So I had to do a rewatch. And I love Luke Wilson anyway. And at one point, Emmett says, "How do you think I would look as a blonde?" And I thought that was cute, given his brother is blonde. Owen Wilson. So yeah.
Has he ever been
think about that
in any movies?
Luke, I don't know.
I can't think of any. I do know he had shaved his head after filming this for Royal Tenenbaums and then had to wear a wig for that last scene.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh.
Elle's wig was tough in that last scene.
Ah, well, there you go.
Did not know that.
Well, so I noticed a couple of things. I know, for instance, Brooke Wyndham has like perfect French nails and when she's in prison, which cracks me up. I'm like, okay, I could get like having maybe some nail polish, but these are like perfect nails. Yeah.
They were so square. They were very like old school porn star nails. I was staring at them.
I was just like, damn, look at your nails, girl. And then and then I liked that Elle was wearing very somber outfits the whole time she's working for the law firm, but then when she comes in and she's on her own and she's just dressed all in pink, I was like, that's cool. But the best thing that I noticed, and I was really proud of myself for noticing this, was, and it's because I paused the movie at this exact moment, was that the guy, David, you know, the big dorky guy in the movie, he's actually listed in the credits as Dorky David, even though he describes himself with a last name in the movie. He's like David...
Kidney,
that's it, yeah, David Kidney. But yeah, it's just Dorky David and then the actor. I was like, well, that seems mean. But also I did just describe him as a dork, so maybe it's fair.
It's so rude. I always think about that for casting, like when you read the casting bits that are like the most disgusting, grossest person who looks like they are old and gross.
Yeah.
And then some actress is applying for that role.
Me! I want to be the old gross lady. Yay! Yeah, I know, 100%. But there's obviously actors who are like, thank you, that'll be there.
Absolutely.
Dinner on the table tonight. You know?
David ate well that week.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, question number 6 is a Patreon question from me. I'm Emily. I have a podcast called Tasteless.
Patreon.
I am.
Tell us about your podcast.
Oh, it is a podcast about movies. I compare 2 movies. One movie that people love that I don't like that much versus one that I like that other people don't like. But recently, both I've liked because I'm running out of movies. There's not enough movies that I want to watch. We'll see how it goes. I have a lot of movies I hate, whether they're even hateable enough to talk about. I mean, I've seen so many Tara Reid movies, you know.
Oh, wow.
What can you say about them?
No.
Yeah.
It's tough. But I, in honor of that, which side character would make for the best spin-off movie?
Oh, well, my spin-off movie's featuring old Dorky Dave. I think that he could spin off from the exact moment from the scene where he's talking to 2 chicks on campus and Al walks up and says to him, you know, how dare you not call me? You're the best lover I've ever had, whatever. From that moment onwards, his trajectory changes to similar to Van Wilder. So he's the Harvard Hobanger in his spin-off movie.
Nice. That makes me feel better because I had also picked Dorky David for a completely different story. I want to see his backstory. I wanted to see like a drama with him deworming orphans in Somalia. I was like,
wow,
that could be a really intense like story. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call it a spin-off per se. Like it's a
prequel,
slightly different realm. But yeah, I reckon there could be some banging movie out of that.
Oh wow, like an Oscar baity type thing where it's like, ooh,
yeah.
look at him go in a village that needs him.
Yeah, or maybe he could go back there and take Elle with him. But I guess we could bring that up in like a later question. So what about you, Emily? You get to answer your own question for once.
I do. And I was excited because I have such an obsession with Allie Larder, who plays Brooke Wyndham. Would love a spinoff of her fitness empire. What's going to happen after everyone finds out she had liposuction? You know, I could see her being like a real Oprah type figure. And I want to know everything about her life.
Well, she would have got so much publicity out of the murder trial and stuff. So I could see her just like taking that to the bank.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as she's like empowering women, she got a woman to be her lawyer. And she's like, you know what, women, you can work out or you can get liposuction. Because no, she says at one point, like, no one actually has this ass.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I certainly don't have that ass. So, yeah.
No, Allie Larder's doing her best.
Yeah, she's beautiful anyway.
She
like
is stunning.
Beautiful woman. Yeah.
That brings us to question 7. What character is actually a major a-hole?
I'm wondering if you guys have the same answer for the really obvious one, and that's Callahan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
I went.
Oh, well, the reason I went
with who was
Callahan is
undercover.
because he's a horrible, creepy, like, sexual harasser person. So that's like the really obvious answer to me. But if I was steering away from the really obvious answer, I was going to say Elle's brunette friend, because she's super self-obsessed. She like totally ignores Elle when she's having like this really, you know, desperate moment. She calls her and she obviously needs a friend, and her friend's like, oh my God, I got bangs. Yeah, cool. Your friend's like having a crisis right now. Could you give her a little support? I was like, nah, got no time for you, lady.
That's what I said. I said her friends, but because of, number one, they're like a parody version of Elle. But number two, I forgot about bangs and just remembered when they called her and one of them was getting married and was like, I'm in my wedding dress.
Oh, yeah, that was also
you don't
not so
have
nice.
anyone. And then when they come into the courtroom and they're like, oh my God, jury people. And it's like, hey,
like
this
judge
is a
in
trial,
everything.
guys.
Yeah, they made her look really dumb in front of like the judge. I get they were there for support, but come on, be a little bit more discreet.
Cool it. Yeah, they had to make a spectacle of themselves.
Yeah. What about you, Stace?
I diverted from all the obvious assholes because there are quite a few actually in this movie. And I dug a little deeper and I just think that Elle's dad is a dick. So there she is trying to say, I'm going to law school, it's really respectable, you know, and he's just there with his martini going, you know, those people are ugly and serious. And it's like, come on, man, support your daughter. She's got enough dickheads out in the world to kind of overcome. You don't need to be
I think he actually thought he was supporting her, though. He was like, look at all the wonderful things about you. You're beautiful and funny. And, you know, and like for him, like a law student was below her. So that was kind of nice. But I get what you mean.
True.
Like he should have just been like, yep, of course, you can do anything. You do you, baby boo.
Exactly.
Especially with all that money. In the very heightened musical version of this, he's like, law school is for boring, ugly, serious people, and you, pumpkin, are none of those things. Like
That is,
God.
I agree. It is sweet, but come on, Dad.
Yeah,
he's a jerk.
he totally is. Oh, I also should have really said Vivian, because she was just horrible the entire film.
Yes.
Like she just never redeemed. Like I guess they give her that redeeming sort of arc, but like when she comes in and then she just suddenly gives away Werner's like massive secret that he didn't even make it into Harvard just off nothing. I was like, oh please, school would never do that. That's completely unrealistic.
She wanted to talk to somebody so bad, but the craziest part of that scene is that Elle is holding the cutest chihuahua and she's sitting there and Elle's like, oh, do you want to hold him? And Vivian's like, I guess. I'd be like, yes, please hand that dog over. That was so insane to me that she's just like, okay, I'll hold him, like scared of him.
Oh yeah, my friend Lee has 2 chihuahuas, or 3. Anyway, they're super cute. And
if
I
you're
don't
at
even
a
like animals
college-
that much. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll give your dog a cuddle. That's a cute dog.
You're on a college campus. You haven't seen an animal. This is the only person with a pet somehow. You're going to want to cradle that baby.
I'm picking up that you're a dog person.
I will touch anyone's animal, but
That
they'll
could
let
be
me
a
hold it.
euphemism. Nice.
oh boy. All right.
All right, so that brings us to question 8. What would the username be for one of the characters' online dating profile?
This question was so fun in theory until I had to think about it. And I was like, oh no, this is so hard. But then inspiration struck. Cruising for a bruising is Bruiser's profile. We find out he's gay in the second movie.
What?
I don't know if anyone remembers
Bruiser the
that.
dog.
No,
He's gay.
I did not remember that, but that's nice.
Bruiser the
Yeah.
dog in the second movie is gay. You know, so he could be cruising on Grindr, really crushing it.
That's pretty sweet.
That's
That's a
fantastic.
good one.
Well, I did chat with Sam about this, and he gave me one. He said, use this. I'm like, no way. This has got Sam written all over it. So I'll tell you his, and then I'll tell you mine. So his was barely legal blonde.
Oh, that's so Sam.
Yeah, that's so Sam. So hence why I couldn't use it. And I'm going with Vivacious Viv.
Oh,
yeah, nice. Or she just
would-
do vivacious, but with like the
Oh,
VIV capitalized.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Even
could see
better.
that. That's nice.
She
yeah,
would definitely.
I'm taking it down 12 notches. Like, I've really gotten the gutter for this one, but I decided that Chutney was going to be quite onto like quite kinky sites and quite, maybe some, bit dirty, a bit dodgy. So I decided this is really bad. I came up with this, and then I was like, no, you've got to come up with another one. And I'm like, nope, haven't got anything else. Here we are. I've decided hers is going to be Chut Slut.
Honestly, could see Vivacious Viv, could see Chutzla both being real names that they use.
Oh,
like if we
100%.
panned past their like Apple iMac from 30 years ago
Yeah.
and it's just in big letters on the
Oh
screen.
my God. Yeah, I was just like, yeah, it's got to be done. It's a fantastic name.
Absolutely.
You had to. And that is helpful tip. Anyone listening to this podcast named Vivian or Chutney, there you go. Free username.
I'm sure there's plenty of chutneys.
I was just
listening to this
wondering that.
podcast.
Is anyone called Chutney outside of this
There's got to be
movie?
someone called Chutney.
That should have been my deep philosophical debate after the movie came out. Were people named Chutney?
Yeah. And I bet if we Googled, there would be.
Question 9, just really taking that insanity into what two characters have secretly slept together and not told anyone?
I'm 100% certain that
Oh, okay.
Enid Wexler and Professor Stromwell
That's so good.
totally see it happening. Because they wouldn't tell anyone, because obviously
No.
student-professor dynamic, and the professor's very sensible and, like, serious. But
Yeah.
they totally would have had a vibe. 100%.
Yeah.
The same sort of, angry, fierce woman thing going on. So, yeah, that's my answer, hands down.
100%.
Enid was definitely like trying to be a TA, like I'll help, I'll pass out papers.
Yeah, she thought she was, like, super important and grown up and stuff. And, yeah, Stromwell
That's
deserved to
good.
get some sweet action. So, why not?
Yeah, totally. I'm a huge fan of
Yeah.
Stromwell. Anyway, I went with Vivian and Professor Callahan.
Oh, yeah.
They've been getting it on, and she's actually jealous when she finds out that he's hitting on Al and others, potentially.
Yeah, because he probably would
That
have been
would
like,
make more
don't talk to me in the
sense.
workplace or whatever. And then he's like hitting on Elle in the workplace.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That would have made more sense as to why she was so turned against Elle so quickly when they had just become friends.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
obviously they slept
Yeah.
together.
obviously.
That makes perfect sense. I love it.
I mean, if this had been a slightly different movie, would have loved Elle and Vivian
Oh,
get
yeah.
together
That would have been quite entertaining.
and just ditch Warner. Imagine if she had taken Warner's girlfriend. How
That's
good that would have
fantastic. That's a
been.
great angle.
Yeah. Nice. That would have been a great, that could be a remake.
Yes.
Maybe. Nice.
Number 10 is a Patreon question from Dan Brennick of Netflix and Swill, which is, of course, a Netflix-related podcast. They cover the movies, the TV, the news about it, trailers. And this is the time that we all need Netflix the most.
yeah.
We are all watching it, and we've probably all watched everything on our lists and are running out of things. So thank you, Dan, for this question.
Absolutely.
And Dan would like to know, how would you have used Blink 182's All the Small Things in this movie?
I thought it would fit in best was when Paulette takes the dog. Just because the music that they use then is really Disney movie, and it just didn't fit for me. And I was like, I reckon all the small things would have just been a bit more of an excited vibe and would have fit better with the soundtrack.
That is exactly what I put. I said right after they get the dog back from Dewey, because it's such a celebratory song, even though I listened to it and was like, I know the song so well, but I'm not sure what it's about. But it feels like an accomplishment. It's like triumphant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it would have been a great spot for it.
It is. On that fat theme of triumph, I'm going when Callahan hits on her and she turns him down and she's walking out down the hallway. That would have been
Yeah,
perfect.
nice. And also, all the small things.
Yes, exactly.
I think that probably would have been quite apt. On that note, I think that takes us through to our individual questions. And for once, I get to go first. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
So let me get us started with question 11. What was your favourite scene in the film?
When she's in the bunny outfit is so classic because not only does she pull one over on Vivian, I mean, she just her response, like, it sets up her character so well of like, you know what? She's going to roll with the punches. She's a positive person. She's not going to let this hold her back. And she's not like, oh, Vivian, I hate you. She's like, all right, well, I'm here. I'll enjoy this party. And it's so funny. But it's crazy to see the Bridget Jones Diary. She winds up in a bunny outfit at a party she wasn't supposed to be in an outfit for.
Yes.
So it's strange,
It was a nice
but bunny
little
outfits are good
I
movies.
was wondering when they said it's a costume party. Normally there's a theme. I was expecting the next line to be whatever the theme was. So that would have given more context, except for every costume you could have ever thought of. A Playboy bunny is the first thing that comes into your mind.
Well, it's probably something she just had in her wardrobe and was like, oh, well, I wore that to 3 parties last year, so I'll just put that on. I know I look good. Hey, and she did
For
look good.
sure. In her sorority, they definitely have like a party every weekend, and she has to bust out that bunny outfit.
Quite handy to have on tap, especially when you look like that in it. So why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so...
Yeah,
Stacey.
me. Sorry.
What's your favorite scene?
This was hard, but this may sound boring, but I think the opening sequence is awesome. It totally sets up so many stereotypes. It establishes the world that they're in, but does it in it's really over the top manner. You know, that all the topless frat boys out the front having their little whatever the fuck they're doing. And, you know, just the whole thing. It just is quite funny and humorous and over the top, and I love it.
It's an iconic opening, and the song is so good.
I am going to mention one little scene, even though I don't need to answer this question, but I just loved it and laughed out loud. It's the bit where Elle shows the random woman sitting next to her the magazine article about Warner's brother, and the woman has no idea what's going on. And Elle's just like, I need to become like this. And she's like, what, practically deformed? And it's just, it's just such a weird moment, but it's just so good.
Yeah.
Like the woman's reactions are just, that was just the best little bit for me. It was amazing.
It's fantastic.
You nailed her delivery too, because part of why it was funny was the way she said deformed with such a weird, like, I don't know if it was like a Midwestern, like specific American accent.
Yeah, to me she was just an American accent, but I just did whatever I could. But I just think that's excellent. Okay, question 12. What was Elle's most badass moment?
Her badass moment was her classiest moment, according to Vivian, when she wouldn't give up that alibi. She knew it could move her further in career, but she didn't even think for a second about giving it up. Like, it wasn't even a question. She just was like, oh, yeah, I got it. No, I won't tell you.
Yeah, there was no way she was telling him that. I thought that was really good as well.
100%. Totally agree. I think the other moment, obviously we've already touched on it, is basically telling Callahan to fuck off. It, you know, like she's not getting sucked into his bullshit, and she's telling people about it. You know, she's not trying to hide it. That was pretty badass.
Yeah,
absolutely. I thought that was really good. Question 13. What was the most unrealistic thing that happened in this movie?
Number one, I'm so glad we're all on the same page that Professor Stromwell is the best character in the movie.
100%.
And we've brought her up about 18 times. But the most unrealistic thing is that I love when Holland Taylor and Professor Stromwell like turns around her chair and is like, don't let him get away with it. But no way is Professor Stromwell going to a place that Jennifer Coolidge works. It's not happening. She goes to a different salon somewhere else. She is not going there to get her hair done.
Maybe there was just like a giant flood at her usual salon. And this was
that was not the classy professor ladies salon. That was like you drive by and you're like, there, I got to get my nails done.
Which is exactly what Elle did, actually.
Right.
Yeah,
you're right. There are so many unrealistic things. But at the start of the movie again, where they all were signing a card, all the sorority sisters were signing a card for Elle, congratulating Elle on her upcoming engagement that was going to be happening that evening. What the fuck? Nobody would do that. That's crazy.
That's really counting chickens before they hatch, right?
Totally.
Especially, have you guys ever been in charge at an office of getting a card signed? It's hard. It is hard to get everyone to sign a card. I'm not putting in that effort until that ring is on her finger.
Oh, I love the girl like stops making out with her boyfriend to sign it, and then like the girls are on the treadmill and they sign it. I'm like, yeah, I'm on the treadmill. I do not have the capability to write my name.
Right. Congratulations.
I barely have the
Hope it
capability to
happens.
breathe, so writing is out of the question.
Yeah. And the fact that they're all genuinely excited about their relationship. Who's that excited about other people's relationships? Nobody.
Oh, 100%.
No. I don't think my best friends would be like, we should get her a card.
For the fact that she might be getting engaged tonight. Like, they might get you a card once you're engaged.
Exactly.
And even that's pushing
Maybe.
it. Yeah.
All right. That brings us to question 14. If you were dumped and needed to learn a new skill like Reese does with law, what would the skill be?
So my last boyfriend was an arborist, or otherwise known as a tree surgeon. So I thought that would be quite handy, actually, because if I learned to be a tree surgeon, then I could have like climbed trees with him, and like we could have had nice, quiet chats at the top of trees, and there was no one else around, and we could have really rebuilt that bond. And it would also be really handy for my mum, because my mum and dad, they have like 47,000 trees on their property, and they're always wanting to cut them down or like grind out stumps or whatever. So those skills would come in really handy.
That's a good skill. And that's tree law is a bit, I'm always seeing on Reddit, like people will have accidentally cut down a neighbor's tree and then legally owe them hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow. Yeah.
So the arborists that called in are doing some high money consulting.
Yep. Fits me. Tree surgeon. Thank you.
Love it.
Decision made.
I can see you doing that, Liz. You'd be great.
Thanks. Chainsaw hanging from my hip.
Yeah.
What about you?
Okay, well, I'm again thinking if Sam dumped me and I needed to kind of win back his affections, I'd have to learn how to be a really kick-ass gamer on Xbox.
Oh.
Yeah, you
That
would.
is pretty much the only thing that would work. And he knows I hate it.
Like one of those Twitch streamers where you make like bank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You definitely have to do that.
Jesus, please don't. I
And then
can't
people
go there.
watch you play.
I don't think you'd do it, Stacey.
I
You'd be like, do
wouldn't.
you know what? I just don't think he's worth it.
No, I'd be like, no, actually. No.
You're like, I'll go to Harvard Law School. That's fine. But learning to be a gamer? No. Heaven forbid. I love that.
Question number 15. They have been talking about bringing Legally Blonde back for number 3. They're always talking about it. We'll see what happens. But if they do, what should the new plot be?
So I have a genius idea for this.
All right.
So as at least Emily, you'll certainly be aware, and Stacey maybe too, like Ruth Bader Ginsburg is this incredible, like the last decent person standing on the Supreme Court, right? And when if she goes, fingers crossed she never goes, then Trump at this stage will be able to replace her with a person of his choosing, which would just be terrible because it would really change the course of the Supreme Court for the United States. So I would love to see Elle campaigning to become the youngest Supreme Court judge, because I did the maths and she'd be 40 this year. And the youngest Supreme Court justice or whatever was 44 elected. So therefore, if they started filming now, and, you know, like she would get in the right timing and stuff. So I think it would be perfect. And then she could replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg and it'd be banging.
Shit, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I would absolutely watch that.
Right? I was like, this would be a great film. And I'd also accept Elle Woods replacing Ruth Bader Ginsburg in reality. Reese Witherspoon.
I would accept
replacing
Reese, yeah.
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 I like her. She's cool. She can't be any worse than a Trump choice.
Shit, no.
So,
a million times better.
We're falling apart over here.
Emily,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
There.
I have to put a nail in that coffin. I'm on a similar theme as Liz. Well, I think that we've got a great story here about Elle Woods taking down a dodgy president who's an ex-reality TV star who also used to run a beauty pageant and has been accused of and admitted sexual harassment during that time.
that is amazing.
Yeah.
These movies need to be made. Like, my
scary.
God. Maybe mine gets made first and then yours is fourth.
Yeah. Yes, I'm happy with
The
that.
follow-up.
Yeah. Sounds great to me.
I want to watch both of those desperately.
People should really like come to me and Stace for like movie suggestions, because
They
we've got great ideas.
Reese needs to talk to you guys.
Reese, you got it? Call me.
Reese,
We'll chat.
Reese is definitely listening.
My people will talk
Reese,
to your people.
please. Question number 16, in honor of our favorite Professor Stromwell, Holland Taylor, and my personal obsession with her relationship with Sarah Paulson. I love them as a couple. What would be the most surprising date pairing amongst the characters of this movie?
I was really surprised to hear this news when I read this question. I was unaware of this relationship, so thanks for filling me in.
It's my favorite fun fact.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
So I'm going with the surprising couple of what's his name? The old trailer park ex-husband of the Dewey.
Dewey?
Yeah, Dewey.
Dewey.
And Ellie.
Yeah, that would be hard to buy. I'm not seeing a lot in common
No,
there.
nothing.
To be honest, though, like for my choice, I was like, do you know what? Werner and Vivian are a really weird couple.
Yes, they are.
So, I mean, it's not my answer because I had to choose one that wasn't an actual thing. But I was like, I actually don't see Vivian going for a guy like Werner. And
No.
yeah, I don't. That would be a horrible, like they just wouldn't have anything common or to talk about or whatever. It'd just be crazy.
Yeah.
But I decided that they were actually in a couple. I couldn't choose that. So instead I went for Vivian and the UPS guy.
Yes.
Oh, but
Yeah.
I don't mind that. Two attractive people together.
Yeah, like, I mean, it could happen, but I don't see it. She's too much of a snob. And he'd be way too
That's
intimidated
true.
by her.
I mean, in another piece of Legally Blonde musical trivia, the man that plays the UPS guy also always plays Dewey. So when he becomes Dewey, he just like, he's gorgeous as the UPS man. Then he just like sticks his stomach out really far and like lifts a white tank top over it and like holds it.
Oh my God, that's
and
hilarious.
that just makes him disgusting.
Amazing.
Genius.
You know, and like just like in a movie, like a gross guy just has his like hand on his stomach and you're like,
Yeah.
what? Put your shirt down.
Yeah.
Okay, so that takes us to my questions. Question 17. UPS man and beauty therapy woman. What's her name? Paulette. Sorry, UPS man and Paulette's first date is at Al's court trial. Where's somewhere less romantic, but somewhat feasible to go on a first date with someone?
I stuck with the sort of slightly legal theme, and I decided that going on mandatory community service would be not very romantic. But, you know, it could count as a first date. Like if you both got in some trouble, like maybe if you like smashed up a store and then this other guy came in and started smashing it up with you or something, and then you both got sent on mandatory community service and you met there and were like picking up rubbish together. I don't know.
Maybe.
I like this meet cute that you're going to start doing a crime and someone else is going to go, I'm going to join in on that. That looks great.
I feel like everyone's just at the actual edge of it right now, right?
Yes,
Like if I
right.
like ram raid a liquor store, someone else is going to walk by and go, damn it, I could really use some bourbon.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to come and help you out with that.
Right.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of days.
It really is.
We'll keep an eye out. If I see any hot guys doing crimes, I'll just go join them.
Great idea.
I'm going to peer out my window like Rear Window and just wait.
Yeah.
I was thinking it would be pretty unromantic to meet at Alcoholics Anonymous. You're not supposed to date each other.
Oh.
You're not supposed to like talk about it. It would lead to some very weird lines in your relationship.
And you both obviously have that issue, right? So yeah,
Right.
you're already two people with a serious problem. And then like if one of you like goes backwards and then you're going to drag the other one, oh my God, yes, that
terrible.
would be dire, but possible.
Yeah, terrible.
It's too much.
Yeah. Rather them than me.
Absolutely.
That does not sound ideal.
Good answers, guys. Question 18. So much like our old mate Dorky David, if some guy was hitting on you miserably and then some other hot girl came up and started going on about how amazing he was and broke her heart, would that change your mind on the guy?
Okay, I wrote down like in my little notes while I was watching the movie, no. And then I thought about it. I was like, okay, I would definitely pause. Like, okay, if somebody super hot came over and was like, you're incredible, I would for sure be like, wait a second. And so, yes, maybe I would talk to him a little longer. I still don't think that we would go out, but I think I would continue the conversation and be like, what happened here?
Yes.
I also I don't know why I want to, if I think somebody's gross, why would they want to go out with me? That's so terrible. But yeah, I would pause. Being fully honest.
But don't you always find that you like the ones that don't like you and vice versa? Like, that's definitely my problem.
Right.
I always have a thing for people who don't fancy me, but the people that fancy me, I'm like, oh, no, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Sorry. You seem nice, but no.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, that's a no. Just because I don't care about other people's opinions for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, I'd be like, cool, you liked them, bully for you. I have already made this judgment that this is not going to work. So,
Yeah.
story bye.
What if it was straight up actual Reese Witherspoon?
Okay, I wouldn't pause to date them, but I would want to know the answers.
Yeah.
Right? I'll just be like,
Right.
look, don't take this as me being interested, but I've got to know the backstory to that, please.
What happened? Like maybe you wouldn't set up a date in the future, but right then you'd be like, okay, we can grab a drink right now.
Just so you can tell me how
let's
that
hash this out.
That's
Because
fair.
this is a great story. I need to tell my friends.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Better date stories. That sounds awesome.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
And my final question is, which lawyer from this movie would you get to represent you at your murder trial?
I think we're going to agree based on the total fangirling we've done this entire show. I was going to choose Stromwell.
I should have.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, good. Then I steal her and I'm going to win. I just thought, she's badass. She knows her shit. Like, you just hear in the lecture, like, she clearly knows what she's talking about and she doesn't suffer fools gladly. Like, I could just see her eviscerating her opposition in the courtroom.
Absolutely.
So, 100% Stromwell.
Yeah, that's a guy. I didn't even think of her. I chose Emmett because he's the one who actually gets it out of the guy that he's gay. And he's professional, but he's kind of like, he's like a secret weapon because he's just pretty quiet the whole time. Like, Callahan forgets he's there and he's like, no, we can't do this trial. There are no lawyers. And Emmett's like, hello, I'm a lawyer.
Turns out
I was here.
I could do it.
And then he just crushes it. Like, he doesn't overstep. He's not braggadocious, but he's just there working hard.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Love it.
I wouldn't say no to him if that was an option. I'd,
If Stromwell was
if I
busy.
couldn't take Stromwell, then Emmett would do all right.
Question number 20 is from Julio of the Contrarians podcast. They praise the movies that you hate. They trash the movies you love. And what I like that they do also is that then they actually talk about their real opinions about the movies, but they take kind of a contrary position. Phenomenal podcast. Find it wherever you get podcasts. And the question is, what is your most controversial opinion about this film?
Okay, so I decided right at the end of the film, that Werner did actually love Elle. And I don't think, I think not everyone would agree with that, but at least at the end of the film, I think he really did. Like, I think he watched her in that trial and she was just so wonderful. And he just went, oh my God, why didn't I see her before? She's incredible. I mean, too late, so sad, because too bad, buddy, you are never getting her back. But I thought there was a genuine love there.
That's fair. I didn't think about that, but he dumped her because of his parents.
Yeah.
Like, his parents want him to be with a Vanderbilt, like his brother. That has nothing to do with him. You're dead on.
That's I'm on the Warner bandwagon there, for my opinion, and that's that. You can feel sorry for him. He was honest about his feelings, and now he's got no girlfriend, no job prospects, and is watching everyone else have a fabulous life.
That's true, actually, because actually when Elle went up to try and join this study group, he was open to her joining.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't mean to her. Whereas Vivian was just such a cold, horrible cow.
Yeah.
So, maybe he didn't deserve so much vitriol.
He dated Vivian in prep school, so it sounds like he dated Vivian. That was his big girlfriend. Then Elle, then back to Vivian, and both of the girls who are the two most important relationships in his life are now friends and talking about him negatively.
Oh wow, he really is the victim of this movie.
Let's not feel too sorry for him.
Poor Warner.
Yeah.
Who knew we would get three women together to watch Legally Blonde and we'd be like,
We all
oh,
feel bad for
Warner.
him. To be fair, though, I just make myself feel better about it by realizing that he called both his girlfriends Pooh Bear,
Oh,
and they both
yeah.
him.
oh, buddy.
What
Mix
is
it
They
up.
both were fine with it.
That's the weirdest nickname ever.
It is.
It's very embarrassing.
Like,
I
I
don't
would
like
be
it at
channeling
all.
Enid Wexler if a boyfriend called me that and being like, yeah, no, and punching him, when she punches that guy because she studied combat. Whatever, I was like, that's awesome. That's so me. Just physical violence.
My opinion doesn't have anything to do with Warner, and I'm sorry
Right.
about that. But I love this movie. I love Reese Witherspoon. I think the cast is beyond talented. I think the Legally Blonde musical may be better.
What?
And here's the thing, because it is at a minimum just as good. The actress that plays her in the Broadway run, Laura Bell Bundy, her version of Elle is maybe even a little more savvy than Reese Witherspoon's. And I appreciate both interpretations, but scenes that were the bend and snap, terrible in a movie, fantastic as a musical number.
okay.
Like the parts of the movie that were very ooh, what's happening here? This is very weird or out of place, all cue directly into fantastic musical numbers. So
That's a good point. Yeah.
it's so good. I love the musical so much, and I have been listening to it all day.
I might have to,
And I still know
watch that somehow. It sounds like a must-do.
It does.
it's a great musical. That is it for the movie. I mean,
Wow.
I love Legally Blonde. You should keep listening to this podcast, Movie Reviews and 20 Qs. Stacey, you don't have anything else to promote because this is your
Exactly.
podcast.
Just keep
Liz.
listening.
Listen to your podcast if you run out of our podcast, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. I know, Liz, you're basically the co-host of this podcast now.
Yeah,
You've been on like 5 episodes recently.
I've been filling in for Stacey, who has far more important things to do, like raising an actual tiny human, whereas I am painting
baby.
fences and sleeping in because of lockdown. So, yeah. Cool.
We're crushing it. All right. Well, listen to movie reviews at 20 Qs. Keep doing it. Leave a review. Say something nice about Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Liz. That's
Yeah.
fine too.
Or how good the
Or Stacey or Emily. That's
Exactly.
also fine.
What a great job Emily did hosting today and looking after us.
Oh, 100%. You were brilliant.
Thanks for bearing with me.
Excellent Sam energy.
Absolutely.
I couldn't keep up excitement for that long. I was like, what do I do to be Sam? Because I can't do a New Zealand accent. That would be fully insane.
No one
What
can.
does he do? Oh, he has enthusiasm
He
for
does.
life.
He
I'll
does.
work on that.
You did a brilliant job. Well done.
Thanks, girls. See ya.
Lucky Sam.
That brings us to question. He's going to have to listen
Yeah.
to
I
this.
know. We should have talked more about periods.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we can always add a bit on.
Tampon.
Can you imagine a world immune to all forms of cancer?
Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come for our 4th annual live stream for the cure.
And this year, we need your help more than ever.
Please join us May 27th through May 31st for 48 hours of live content from guests and podcasts around the world.
We'll be aiming for our most ambitious goal to date as we try to raise $10,000 for the Cancer Research Institute.
Please visit www.livestreamforthecure.com for more information on this year's event and how you can be a part of it. Together, we can make a difference.